Who do you think should be on the Mount Rushmore for horror icons? I think that it's pretty straightforward now. I think there's a definitive top four now. However, I can see arguments for another top four potentially. So I think that there's actually a definitive top three, and I think you can maybe make some arguments for who is in that fourth place. Now, I do think that it used to be a top four, then it changed, and now I'm going to get into it. I'll get into it. So first of all, the top three, and this isn't any order, this is just who I think is the top three icons for horror. So I think you've got Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, and Jason Voorhees, and I don't think there's any contest. I don't think you can argue for those three not to be in the top four for horror icons. I just don't see it. I feel like if anyone was to be in danger of not being in it, it would be Freddy Krueger, because we haven't seen anything from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise in the last 15 years. It's been so long since we've actually got a movie in that area. I imagine there's probably a remake that'll be somewhere once they sort the rights out and sort things out for it. So I imagine that'll be somewhere. So I don't think it'll go anywhere, but that's the top three. Now, prior to the 90s, I do think that fourth spot was occupied by Leatherface, but I do think he's now been knocked out of it. I think that now, in the 90s, we had the start of one of the greatest franchises in horror we've ever seen, and that was Scream, of course, so I do think that Ghostface has now taken that fourth spot, and I don't think that that's too crazy to say. I'm open to suggestions to who else it would be, but I think that that's my personal top four. I don't think there's really any contest at the minute. I actually think that we're getting really close to actually being able to say that Ghostface is the most iconic horror icon. I just don't know if we're quite there yet. I don't know if they can quite remove that top three. I'm really open to conversation. I want to see if anyone has any other ideas. Is that true? You know, are we close to seeing that? I do think we're a few years away. It depends what happens with remakes and reboots and all these kind of things. I know that you've got Friday the 13th in the pipeline. You've also got some more Halloween in the pipeline. Freddy Krueger is the one that I think is in the most danger for being kind of knocked out of that. There are other icons I think that have, of course, been brought up in conversation, like Jigsaw. Could also be kind of thought of. Chucky, I've heard floated. And I'm not even going to entertain that clown. God, I hate those movies. I hate them. I'm not even going to say their name. I absolutely hate them so much. But anyway, this is what I think is a definitive top four for the Mount Rushmore of horror icons currently.